Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Hello, replay viewers. Thanks for joining in with me tonight. Hello, thanks for coming by, guys. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday evening. I am going to flip you around. There we go. Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope you're all having a great Thursday. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming in. Tonight we are starting block number 2 of the Splendid Sampler. So this is the block right here. It is, it's called Wings. It's by Jane Davidson, who is one of the people who started the Splendid Sampler quilt along. We are doing every block here on Periscope, and they're released every Sunday and Thursday. So this one actually got a sneak peek. This one came out yesterday instead of today, but I am going to do it tonight. Oh, I'm so happy you like my scopes. I appreciate that. So I've got my fabrics picked and we're ready to go. I've read through the instructions and I think I get it. I'm going to try some things that are different than I normally do for the sake of seeing if I learn something. So we're going to try that. For those who are new, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we create lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm also the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery, and I'm a fabric designer as well. And I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central, crafting. I invite you guys to have a craft and join me while we craft and make things. We do a lot of embroidery, and now we are doing the Splendid Sampler quilt-along, mystery block quilt-along. So it'll be 100 blocks, and again, released every Thursday and Sunday. So we'll be doing it those days, and then the days after until we're done with the blocks. Some blocks take a little bit longer. So we'll see how this block goes. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around. Let me know what you guys are working on. Let me know if you're at QuiltCon, people. I hear that is going great. Let me flip you guys around. Flip. All right, there we go. So here are my fabrics. So let's look at this pattern for a sec first. So this is what it looks like. Oh, hello, Kathy. It is 6 blocks or 6 squares by 6 squares with a couple of these little half square triangle guys in the middle. And if you look really close, there's little embroidery bits to it. So it's supposed to look like a bunch of, like 5 little butterflies on this kind of a neutral field. So my plan is to do it like this. I'm going to put them and position them all in the same way, but I'm going to do light butterflies on a dark background. So then they'll almost be like, you know, moths going to the light in the night or something like that. My quilt overall is going to have like a bluish feel, so I kind of wanted to keep going with that. So to start out, every time it says light, we're going to really mean dark, and every time it says dark, I'm going to mean light. So keep me on track with that, guys. So here are my, it calls for 5 squares 6 by 6 inches of light prints. I'm going to be doing dark. And then 5 squares that are 2 1/4 inch that are assorted medium or dark. I'm going to do light. So these are actually dark. The 6-inch squares, these are actually light. The 2 1/4 inch squares. So just remind me of that. And ultimately, these 6 by 6 inch ones are going to be cut into 5 2 1/4 inch squares, which will be, you know, matching these 5 up here. So we'll have 5 light and 5 dark ones. And then the rest will be cut up into 1 1/2 inch squares till we have 26 squares. So that is where we're going to start. I'm going to try doing some of the things that they do here because it's a little different than what I'm normally used to. But let's just start with the cutting. So I'm going to cut these light ones, which are, you know, it says dark, but we're meaning light. Your hand sewing a binding under the blue and white quilt. Oh, fun! You'll do this block tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of people have this block completed already. So I'm going to start with these. So I need 5, and I'm using different fabrics for each. So I'm going to use 5 different fabrics of the dark. It says light, but we mean dark. And then 5 different squares of the light, and we mean dark. Or I mean dark. Light instead of dark. There we go. So I'm going to start here to just kind of get them out of my way. So these are actually lights. So 5 2 1/4 light squares. Alrighty, so here are my fabrics. This is what I'm going to use for my darks. I'm using 5 different darks and 5 different lights, so it's going to be quite a mixture. It's quite a lot of fabric for such a small block. This is finished size of the block. Oh, and these came in the mail today, just in time. So I got this little pack of rulers. This is a 6.5 inch square, and oh, you finished this block. Awesome. This is going to be the finished size of it. So this is a 6.5 inch, and this came with a little packet that had a 4.5 inch one and a 2.5 inch one, and we're going to use this 2.5 one to cut these 2 1/4 inch squares. If you're having trouble with the scope, try backing out and coming back in. That sometimes fixes the connectivity. All right, so these are my darks. So these are going to be the background fabrics. You know, where it's light here, I'm actually going to do these darks. And these are going to be the little wings of the butterfly. So proportion-wise, it'll be a lot of dark to like these little flecks of lighter bits. So that's my plan. So let's start cutting those lights out. Okay, so I got to remember, you know what? Just because I know it's late and I'm going to mess this up, I'm going to just label this dark, and I'm going to label this light, because you know how it goes. And then this is also going to be dark. Yeah, okay. That should get us there. Without me, oh man, I can't even finish spelling a word. Dar, there, now we go. Okay, so let's start with these 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 light squares. So 5 of them. So I'm going to just plop these to the side and just do these one at a time. And I'm going to do it with this 2.5 inch guy here. You know what? I'm not even going to press this beforehand just because this is such a small little space. So I do have this selvage here. So my plan on cutting this is to not worry about squaring it up perfectly. I know, isn't this so pretty? I think this is a Heather Ross print. Although now that I'm looking at it, I'm not quite positive. So I'm just going to kind of plop it down here. This is 2.5 inches. So my plan is to just not really line it up and not worry about this edge. Then do a really nice edge here against the ruler, and then go up and take 1/4 inch off, and then put the nice edge on here too. And that'll let me not have to deal with squaring up all my fabric all perfect. I'm just gonna kind of zoop zoop and then move it and then finish it off. So let me check the measurements again. Okay, 2 1/4, just had to make sure. So we're gonna do this one at a time. So this is selvage here, so I'm just gonna go over that. We'll just cut that right off. And I did replace the rotary cutter. Ooh, this might be a little tough with the camera here, but we'll give it a go. I replaced the blade on the rotary cutter tonight. That's a little dangerous, but we'll fix that. That's a little too dangerous for me. I may have to rotate the ruler a little bit better. Okay, snip this off. Okay. Here we go. This will be better. So now I want it to be 2 1/4. So I'm going to just get 1/4 off of both sides here. You know what, I should do it this way. Then I can see the 1/4 on this yellow line and this yellow line. Okay, there we go. So 1, 2 1/4. We should be good to snip. Okay, there's our first little bit. So let's put him we'll put him there. He's pretty cute right there. I think I read, if you're right, the bulk of the fabric should be on the right. Yeah, I know, I didn't do it right. That was good for sure, or bad. So actually, you know what I'm gonna do too? I planned this all out beforehand, and now I forgot. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a bunch of layers right away to make this go a little faster. Oh, you're late today? Oh, well, we're just starting. We are cutting up fabric. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? I just think it looks like, let's get the color better. There we go. So it's red line. Oh gosh, it kind of vibrates, doesn't it? It almost looks like someone took just a red pen, just a straight up like Bic red pen and drew it. All right, so I'm gonna actually plop both of these on top of each other. And look at this one. This one it's got gold ink in it. Isn't that cool? I kind of love that. This is a Mona Luna fabric. So this is organic too, this fabric. So cute. Look at these two cute together. Wouldn't this be like a really modern like Christmas thing? I think that's kind of neat. You know what? I'm going to go for... well, no. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to try and cut 4 layers of fabric at once. Let's just see if we can wrap this up in one fell swoop. And actually, I am going to rotate these so the bulk is over here. Because that was dangerous, what I did for the last cutting. I just don't have much room on this side. Here we go. All right, that can go here. My sewing machine's in the way right here. Okay. And we'll grab some of this. I have a new blade, so this should be easy. Look how shiny that is. Ah, it's so funny. I love it. So shiny. Okay, then this crazy print, I have no idea. I don't even think I have it. Oh yeah, it is. So this is an art. Oh, this is Barry J for Art Gallery Fabrics. Oh, for fun. Yeah, this one is pretty unique. It's almost like a wood grain, but not really, you know? But it kind of gives me that feeling a little bit. Yeah, it's a fun texture, and I'm going for like a couple little pops of light color or yellow colors in this quilt, but just barely. I want it to feel blue, and then just every once in a while you get a hint of some yellow. And this one is just so pretty. We worked with the dark version of this on the bonus block. So we're really gonna, by cutting right here, we're really getting a lot of this blue. But I like that because I like the idea of the blue blending in with my dark blues a little bit. Look, there's a little bunny rabbit in here. All right, so now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna cut through that. You know, I'm not sure. I think this is a Japanese brand, I think. I don't know. This one doesn't have a selvage on it at all. But I feel like I might have collected some like painty Japanese fabrics, and I don't think I'm not quite sure. It literally was like 5 or 6 years ago. I finally broke into it. Yeah, oh yeah, so it's vintage looking, but it's also, you know, got that cool like Japanese painted look and just, you know, cleverness with the little bunnies and stuff in. All right. Well, that is definitely a sharper blade than it was. Holy cow. It went through all 4 of those. All right. Now, oh, that's kind of curvy. Let's check that edge. That edge is wacky. Let's just get that a hair straighter. All right. Come on, there we go. Extra little bits for our little confetti quilt later. I should go out and come back once all this cutting is done. Oh, I'm not gonna hurt myself, if that's what you're implying. I'm doing it the right way now, away from me. Oops, shoot, I didn't want to separate all those. All right, I think we're fine still. Okay, now the 2 1/4. I love this teeny little ruler. They came just in the nick of time for this project. 1, 2 1/4. Okay, good. All right, snip that. I'm gonna give it a try here. All right. There, all our 5 5 lights are cut. So these are going to be the butterfly wings when we're done here. 1, 2, 3. There's one more hiding in here. There we go. So these will be like little corner bits like this. So the other green would be over there. So how pretty is this? I just kind of love that fabric. Okay, so these guys are done. Let's get those out of the way. So that barely used up any of my fabric. Teeny tiny bits. Okay, so now my darks. So this is for the background, all these little background bits. So for that, it has us starting out with a 6 by 6 inch block, but then we cut it down. So we have 5 2 1/4 inch blocks, which is basically this. That's the same as what we just did here. And then the rest we cut into 1 1/2 inch blocks, like 26 squares. So I have this 6 1/2 inch block here, or thing here. So we only need 6 inches, but I'm gonna do it the same way I did with the other things. I'm just gonna kind of roughly cut my stuff that I need, and then I'll be more picky cutting the smaller pieces out of it. I think that'll be kind of the fastest way. And I'm gonna try cutting all 5 pieces right at the same time, like what we did here. And you know, these ones I maybe should press. So I'm gonna do that as I go here. Get these guys out of my way. Look how pretty this is. Ooh, see, you know, this is so fun because all of this fabric was sitting on my shelf for years because it was just, yeah, I'm gonna tilt you guys up while I press. But this has been on just in bundles for years because they were just too pretty to break into. I couldn't do it. And you know, they were just too pretty. I couldn't make anything out of it. So now that I'm actually using it, you know, it's so fun to open them and see all the fabric. I have never seen this fabric open before. So it's like a fun new experience. Yep, so far, Cora, I've been okay with cutting into it, which is surprising me a little bit because, you know, I was not wanting to touch my pretty little fabrics. I didn't want to cut into them. So this one we used, I think for the bonus block. So we're going to use more of that. So this one's actually, I need to press it still. I'm going to use this corner here. I only need to press a teeny bit in the corner. We're just cutting the 6 1/2 inch squares. Wow, look at these two together. This is a pretty screen right here. I like it. So that's kind of what I want my quilt to look like. I want it to have this kind of deep blue feel to it, but with sparks of other colors in it. So here's this one. This is almost like a denim, but it's not. It's I don't know, some really pretty woven fabric. I think I got a fat quarter collection of, you know, like maybe 4 or 5 that were all this sort of fabric, and I thought it'd be pretty with this too. It's a little thicker though, but I think with my new blade, I think we'll still be able to go through all these. I'm almost done with this one. I got excited to make it. Oh, I know all the tiny pieces, right? Ooh, I'm putting a little crease in there. I know, I'm a little nervous, and you know what? All the different pieces, they're folded a little bit, or not folded. They're pressed. The seams are pressed a little differently, and they're assembled a little differently than my normal one does. The sampler comes out, the new blocks, they're all mystery blocks, so we don't know what they are, but they all come out, they come out one at a time on Thursdays and Sundays. Yep, Kathy's got it right there. Here, this one's really pretty. So here's again that spark of yellow that we're gonna have every once in a while. But yeah, so this is only the second block, so Ashley, if you wanted to get going on it, there's plenty of time to get involved for sure. I like this one. This one's kind of fun. It's like I'm getting to see all of them for the first time because I've never opened these fat quarters before. They were too pretty as fat quarters. All right, we're all pretty much lined up. And then this one, we used this one the other night too. So that'll be fun. We'll have some fabrics showing up again that we used in other ones. Oh, and this is the dark version of this one, which is what we cut a little, 5 minutes ago. All right, let's get this one unfolded again. So pretty. It's got like hidden little animals in it. And I will never ever get sick of this watercolored look. So look, it has like little bunnies and like a little bird and stuff in. Oh, you're getting your fabric cutting too. Yeah, you know what? The fabric, like, the fabric's always so pretty, and I just can't cut it up. But now that I'm actually cutting it up, I'm feeling good about it. Oh, chrysanthemum fireworks! It totally does. Yes, all the blocks come out as a 6.5 inch block, which is this size. So they're not big at all. So they end up 6.5 inches. So when you sew them all together, in the end, they'll all end up being 6 inches when they're finished. But when you're doing them here, they'll end up 6.5 inches. So here, I'll tilt you this way. So again, like I said, I'm going to just kind of roughly snip these, and then I'll snip my other pieces out of it. All right, I think we're good there. Oh, can you tell I'm concentrating? I had to be quiet there. All right, so we're done with all this fabric because we cut it all at once. I know, few, right? Okay, so here we go. I am actually going to cut strips from here. So let me check the instructions again. So I know that this is square right here. That's my square cut that I just did. So we need to cut... Okay, from dark prints, okay, few, just had to check on that. We need 26 1.5 inch cuts. So that's 1, 2, 3. So we should be able to get, what, like 4 out of 1 or something. Let's see. Man, I can't do math. So 1.5, hold on. Yeah, you guys are gonna laugh at me. I gotta totally figure this out by counting like it's my fingers. So 1.5 is 1. That's 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll get 4. 4 out of 1 strip. So if we need 26, we need at least 5 of each. So I'm gonna cut 2 strips for all of them. How many people are making on the Facebook? Don't have Facebook, I was wondering. I think there's something like 17,000 people on the email list for it. So, I mean, that's a ton. All right, so let's do my 1 1/4. And you know what? My stand is in the way, so I'm gonna have to use a smaller. Let's just go this way. We'll use this and this big ruler. So 1, let's check again. 1, and I know, isn't it nuts? 17 freaking thousand people. 1.5 inch cuts. So 1.5 inch cuts, not 1 1/4. So here we go. 1.5. It's pretty crazy and neat. Oh, you're doing it? Oh, fun. Yeah, it's so fun to see how different everyone's looks too. Everyone's just being so unique, and it's really inspiring to watch. Okay. These I need to be careful cutting. Oop. I think we're gonna be fine because the pieces are so little. All right, so there's a few. Ooh, some of them are fraying a little bit. Well, we're gonna just see what happens here. And another 1.5. They're so tiny. And, you know, a lot of times when you do a block like this, you do some sort of quilt trick where you can sew strips together and then cut up the strips, and then you magically have all your 1.5-inch things done already. But these, for this block, it's straight up 1.5-inch squares that you sew together. Okay, I moved it. I'm gonna realign that again. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. I'm curious what stitch you'll use for the antennas. Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure either. I'm curious about that as well. Click the little right Perry guy. Click on hide chat. Oh. Oh, I didn't know you could hide chat. That's interesting. You know, I can move up a little higher too so you guys can see. So we should have enough little squares from those two. So now I'm going to quickly cut my, where'd my other little ruler go? My 2 and a, let's see, I need 5 2.25-inch ones. So I'm going to cut those out of this right away. This way. Okay, 2.25. All right. I am really happy hold on. Can't talk and cut. I'm happy I changed blades because I don't think I would have been able to go through these 5 layers of fabric. So this is, those scraps are done as well. All right, so here are our 5 little blocks. So these will be the ones that are paired with these to make, so here's what our little butterflies are gonna look like. They'll be a little half square triangle like this, and then repeat it on the other side to make like a little butterfly. I know, it's super tiny. It's a 2.5-inch ruler. It came as a set. So I got my 2.5-inch ruler, a 4.5-inch, and then my 6.5-inch, which is my main one to cut all my final blocks. All right, so we got our lights and our darks of these for the butterflies. I'm gonna set those aside, and now let's finish up these little itty-bitty 1-inch blocks. And I'm gonna go one at a time, I think. I'm gonna even trim off this end again. Let's see, how do I wanna do this? I think, yeah, we'll do it this way. I'm gonna cut it with this little guy. So let's first get a straight edge on there. I think we're actually still pretty good. But we'll just do it again. Because these should be a little bit more exact, these little 1-inch guys, or 1.5-inch guys. All right, now we got another good edge on there. And let me just check on these again. I always have to check the measurements more than once. Okay, 1.5. Okay. So I could lay the other layer up here and cut all at once, but since these have to be pretty exact, I am gonna just go slowly. So 1.5. All right, there is a bunch of 5. So that's 5. We need 26 total. So I'm gonna need to do at least 5 cuts, or it's 5, or I need to do 6 cuts really, and then I'll have a bunch of extras. All right, this is 10. Ooh. Okay, I'm freaking out. I moved a little, so I'm gonna remeasure. Everyone said it's been so difficult sewing these itty bitty pieces together and that cutting is really important, so I'm just kind of paying extra special attention to it. All right, 10 Yeah, sorry guys, I can check what you guys are talking about a little bit more once I'm done cutting. I'm just paying really close attention. Okay, 1, 10, 20, or no, 5, 10. This will be 15. But how slick cutting all of these layers all at once, you know? I mean, I'd be cutting forever if I was doing that all separately. So 5, 10, 15. We'll get 20 out of here. Oops, did I move it a little? No, I think we're fine. Yes, focus. Okay, and then we got more little scraps that we'll play around with later. Out of all my little scraps, we're gonna do, you know, we did this quilting bee. So out of all my scraps from this project, I'm gonna sew them all together and do like a fun little fabric like this when we're done. So I'm saving all of my little cut off pieces to do that. All right, we got 20 blocks. Now let's get this other strip over here. We need 2 more cuts out of this, and then we'll have a bunch of extras too. Oh, I might not have... Well, this doesn't look all that square. I'm gonna start from the other side, just because I'm freaking out a little. All right. Let's trim this a little bit. My teensy tiny square. All right, and just if you're new, have you just noticed that I am pulling it off to cut and I'm putting it back on right away? I mean, a lot of people don't forget about that and they leave it sitting around like this. That is a recipe for cutting your fingers off. So just if you're new to this, get in the habit of turning it on and off like right away. I mean, it's second. I don't even think about it anymore. I just kind of do it. So I need 2 cuts out of here. So this is the first one. Yeah, you'll be going to the hospital if you grab that. See, I'm right about to cut. Turn it on. Turn it off right away before setting it down. All right, that is 25. We only need 1 more, but I'm gonna cut all of them, and then we can just choose later, and I'll just have a couple extra little squares laying around. Maybe some other block we'll need a couple 1.5 inch squares. Oop, that one moved around a little bit, but I think we're fine. Okay, so this is scraps. We'll put that to the side. And we are all cut and ready to sew. Okay, let's move all of these rulers out of the way. Don't need those anymore. Are you doing all one color for the background? No, there are actually 5 colors here, so I've cut them all at once. So here's what the background's gonna kind of be like. It's gonna be a mixture of these 5. Yeah, so, ooh, I like that. So this is the general look. I mean, we'll start playing around with the order of all these in a bit here. So, I mean, that's, you know, it's going to have this feel to it, and then it'll have, oh, I'm really liking it already. And then it'll have little, you know, the little butterfly pieces popping in that are like this. And, you know, and then all these other colors I have 5 different butterfly pieces too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this guy. So that's the general look. It'll be mostly feeling like this blue, and then these guys will be the little butterfly pops. Oh, you used white and off-white. Wow, that sounds really beautiful. Okay, so moving on. We are cut. So now this is the part that I'm gonna halfway do the instructions, but halfway not. So they want us to put these little 4 patches together, which are, you know, these pieces here. They want us to rearrange 4 different patches together, so we have those all ready to go. I'm gonna wait on that. What I'm gonna do instead is make all my half square triangle pieces, like all these, And then I want to lay out the whole grid to see, so I can rearrange, I can pick and change things here and there. I just, you know, maybe that's the perfectionist in me and Mom would yell at me, but I think that's what I'm going to do, because I'd like to see it all laid out before sewing little bunches together. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this step to make these half square triangles, and then I'll rearrange it, and then I'll go back to doing it this way. So now this is... yes, exactly. So this is not the typical way that I would personally think of doing this. In my head, I would sew together each row and then sew the rows together. But since that's my normal thing of doing it, and that's what we actually did for the starter block, the bonus block, we did it that way. We changed the instructions to do it the way I'm used to. So, for the sake of learning something new and trying something new, I am going to do it the way that they have written here, just to check to see how it goes. I am curious, because the way I would do it would be like to sew all these to the left and all these to the right and all of these to the left, and these, or not sew, to press them. So then all of the seams would lock together real nice. What they're doing is pressing the seams open for these blocks. So this is where the direction you press the seam, so you press it this way and this way. And same, so all these blocks are pressed open, which I never do. So I'm curious to see what that's like. And then it's not till this stage that these two are pressed inside and these two are pressed outside. So that's when they lock together, these bigger pieces. But the smaller segments are pressing open. Yeah, I don't... Oh, you didn't press open. Well, if it worked for you, that's fine. That's the nice thing about quilting, is that you can do it in so many different ways. I'm going to on purpose try it a way that I am not used to doing it, and we'll just see. Because it'll be yay or nay. I may do it again this way if it's awesome, or I may never do it this way again because it fails miserably. We'll just see. But I am going to give it a try. That's new to me. But right now, let's move on to the squares. So for this, I am just, we're doing kind of what we did the other day. We're putting one of the lights and the darks together, drawing a line down the middle, sewing a scant 1/4 of an inch on each side, cutting it apart, pressing open, good to go. And we're going to do that with all those pieces. So we'll get started on that. Let me move you guys over to the machine. All right. Here I got my 1/4 of inches taped on either side. I'm going to move all these small, I don't need this guy anymore either. I'm going to move these small bits to the side because we are going to be dealing with the larger 2 1/4 inch pieces. Masking tape for the win! All right, so now we kind of have to, this is our first test of putting things together, and I'm gonna try and be random against the will of my body that does not want to be random, right? You know, we want everything to go together perfectly, but I'm gonna try and just pick and live with the consequences. So these are butterfly wings. These are the squares that they will share. So if this is a butterfly, then this extra little triangle is what we're picking. So I'm gonna just grab. So let's do these two. These two, these two, these two, and these two. Okay. That was as quick as I could without thinking, because once I start thinking, I think that's when I start going downhill. So are we okay with these? Do we think I think this will be fine. I'm feeling like nothing's triggering anything in my body, so we're gonna do this. All right, that's how we're gonna do it. So let's move these to the side and let's start with the first one. All right, I am gonna need let's find my little 4.5 inch ruler. Okay, so right sides together. Okay, and this one, because the pieces are so small, ultimately I want to try and be more exact than usual. So here is this one. So I just have my pencil here. I think a pencil's, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to just use a pencil. I have a water-soluble marker here too, but we're going to be cutting along this line, so it doesn't really matter all that much. All right, let's turn this guy on. Let's turn you guys a little bit more. There we go. All right, I have my little, what did we call this? It's like a little starter thing. It helps level out the machine so the machine starts some stitching right away. A spider. Is that what it's called? A spider? So we're just gonna get that going. A leader, that's what it is. That's what that sounds. A leader and an ender. There we go. So that's what we're gonna do. Now we're gonna sew on either side of these. So I'm gonna sew all on one side first and then sew all on the other side. So I think we're gonna go this way. So I'm gonna line up, oh, you can't really see, can you? Let's get in focus down here. There we go. It's just a different lighting thing, so I'll just sew quick. I'm gonna line my line against one of these 1/4 inch things. I would call a leader if I was making it into something. Oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense too, though, doesn't it? I'm nervous about doing this well enough. All right, let's get the next one ready. Put these two together. So we'll probably just get these triangles made and then we'll lay it all out. And I think we'll do the sewing of it all together tomorrow because it looks like we're getting close to time here almost. Which could send a photo in the chat. You can take a screen grab of the chat and then send it. But I don't know if you can do that in the chat though, now that I think of it. All right, let's get the next one. Ugh, this green and gold is so pretty. All right, I think that looks good. Oh, then we could share a photo. Yeah, that'd be cool. They should do that. You know, I don't think a lot of, well, yeah, I was gonna say I don't think a ton of people do scopes that are meant to be like art scopes sort of thing. Well, a lot of people do, but most of the time it's just heads of people talking for the whole time about nothing. But there's a lot of good scopes out there too that are good. You have to, I haven't read the instructions yet. Are you sewing? I'm not sewing on the line. I'm drawing, there's a line down the center that I drew, and then I'm sewing on either side, then cutting down the center, and then you'll get two out of it. So right sides together. This one doesn't really have a right or wrong side. Mom would have been proud at how quickly I chose these pairings. I didn't take forever to choose, although I think I'll probably take a little bit longer to lay the whole thing out. I have a feeling like I'll be a little pickier for that. The nice thing about choosing all different fabrics for both the lights and the darks is that everything's going to end up being a little random anyway, so you're going to end up with it looking fine no matter what you do, which is kind of nice. All right, this is the last one, and then I got to flip them all around and sew the other side down for all of them, and then we're ready to cut them in half and press them open, and then we will, I think we'll just get that far. I take forever too. I always use a seam ripper a few times. Yeah, I have my seam ripper on hand here. I'm really trying to not screw that up. So I have to do that, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm also I'm doing a random postage stamp quilt. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Yeah. How cool though, that sounds like a beautiful quilt. All right, so now we're doing the header and the leader thing. I'm going to snip all these and leave that last one in. And then do the other side of all these. I would love to do a quilt like that sometime, just a postage stamp quilt, 2 inches. But strip piecing them. See, that's kind of what I wish this was doing, was strip piecing them. That'd be a whole lot easier than what we're doing. All right, so we've done one side, and now I want to do the other side. Ooh, then I silk screen over with dye. Oh my God, I have to see what that looks like when you're done. That sounds so amazing. That sounds just beautiful. I love like all that combination of techniques and playing with ideas and stuff like that. That is like my most favorite thing ever. There's some pictures on Instagram. Is your Instagram the same as your profile? Is it Mylar? If you throw up your Instagram in the comments, and then afterwards I can actually review. Oh, it is. Okay, good. I can review all the comments when I'm done on Catch. Actually, I think you guys can too. If you go to my Catch, that's where I have all these saved. It's KATCH .me/penguinandfish. All of these will be up there, and I think you can click to read comments as well. But I'm saving all of these blocks in a special the Splendid Sampler collection, so you can just go right to those and watch them again or check out the comments. But yeah, so I'll go over the comments and look at your pictures for that, because that just sounds so cool. Actually, if you guys have an Instagram and want to share, throw it up in the comments, and I'll take a look at them. Take a look at what's going on. I can tell it kind of moved around a little bit while I was sewing, so we're just gonna see how this lands in the end. Oops, there. Let's look at that side, the side with the line. Okay, let's sew this guy. Oh, and just so you guys know, if you have written me an email in the past couple days, I am getting through all my emails, so it might be just a few days until I email you back. So I apologize for that. Brittany and Internet. Okay, cool. I will. I'll check out your guys' Instagrams. Wow, this is not lined up. So we're gonna have some funky little half square triangles, but I think in general we'll be fine. All right, now I need my little ender here, and then we're done sewing these guys. All right, that's it for the half square triangles. Let's press them, or let's cut them open actually. Funky butterflies. See, it does look like a spider. Oh yeah, it does, with its little legs there. That's kind of funny. The spider. All right, let's cut these. So I'm just gonna cut right along the line here. I'm not gonna, remeasure or anything. I'm just gonna, here, can you guys see? Yeah, I'm just going corner to corner is all. Ooh, need my cutter here. There, so we sewed on either side of the line. So now we get 2 half square triangles. There, here's one, and we'll trim them down, I think, so they're the right size, but I just want to see. So our little butterflies will be when these 2 little things meet, and the light color will be the butterflies. So, yee, that's gonna be cute. All right, let's cut these other ones and then press them open. I'm excited. I kind of love this part where you do the half square triangles, and then it then you get to open them and see what they look like. All right. Wow, this fabric, this might be a gauze or something. It's sewed a little differently than the other ones. So I'll have to remember that for future blocks, that this green one is a little gauzier than the rest. It moved around a little bit. All right, and then I want to press them all to the dark side. We press to the dark side. Yeah, the shimmer on that one is so cool. That's why I just kind of love it. It's got like, I think it's just printed with like gold ink. All right, here are all our half square triangles. I'm gonna turn this off so the lighting gets a little different. And let me pop you guys back up to the ironing board. I'm gonna tilt this, rotate it a little bit more so we can see. Okay, I am going to just pick these up and press them. I'm gonna press them to the dark side. First, I'm gonna you just want to press down on them to kind of set the seams first, and then I'm gonna press them. Oh wait, are these pressed open? Press the direct press. Light square, you turn, cut, press. Yeah, press towards the darker fabric. Just want to make sure because I'm doing that different way of pressing seams than I did before. Let's steam it too. And I want to just make sure I'm doing it right. So to the dark side, let's set this guy down. I'm going to match them up to now, I think. Press this one to the dark side. I need a little iron. I know what I'd like. You know what? I was gonna, when I ordered my rulers, I wanted to order one of those little travel irons because this is crazy with my cord. I don't have a lot of power here, so my cord barely reaches the electrical outlet too. So I wanted to get one, but they were all out of stock. So I was sad. So I'm like, fine, I guess I'll wait on that. I'll use my iron that I have. But yeah, one of those teeny little travel irons would be perfect for me here. Can you trim one of those? Not sure how to do that. Yep, I will do that next. We're actually running a little low on time. So why don't I'll trim one right now, and then we might wrap it up. So let's see, we need to trim to 1.5 inch squares. So I'm gonna get my little ruler again. You don't need this little ruler, but I'm gonna just trim one side, get those guys out of there first. And it looks like we could square this up again too. So 1.5 inch, wait, these are supposed to be 1.5 inch squares. Trim to 1.5 inch squares. Wow, we are barely, oh wait, no, good. Phew, we do have enough for 1.5 inch. Oh yeah, plenty. Oh, these are huge, yeah. So I'm gonna actually, this ruler, oh, you can't see here, let's scooch up. Let me just scooch you guys over again. All right, so this particular ruler has an angle on it, which is nice. Not all rulers have it. You don't need to. You can just match up, the corners where they meet. So I need 1.5 inch, and this has a 1/2 inch here. So I just need to line it up here to have 1.5 inches. But I am going to first, since I want to make sure that these are nice and square, I'm going to square them up again. And I think I have enough. They're big enough for me to do that. So I'm going to just line it up on that diagonal, trim these edges first. All right, so now that side, this is my good side, and now I'm going to just do that again. So here is my angle that I'm going to follow. I'm going to match it up with this angle here, and the 1 inch and a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to read the directions again and make sure that they're 1.5 inch squares. Trim to 1.5 inch squares. Yields 2 1/2 inch triangles. Okay, just to make sure Yep, 1.5 inch squares. So lining up the diagonal, and then 1.5 inch squares. So these are quite a bit bigger, but I think it's just for the purpose so we can square them up and make them all perfect again. So here we go. Here is one of our teeny little guys, and he will be, you know, surrounded by these. So I'm gonna just continue to press, but this is what we'll do when we're done. So I'm gonna finish pressing them all open. You know, what time is it? You know what? I'm gonna flip you guys around and we will, we'll finish this up tomorrow. Hey there again, guys. We are getting to the point where my phone likes to kick me out. So that is one little guy here. I think tonight, right now, I think I'm gonna press all the rest of these open and trim them right away. Are you guys okay with that? Then we can just start right away tomorrow on laying it all out. We'll lay it out together. So I'll just get the busy work done, which is making these, and then we'll lay them out together and figure that out together, and then we'll sew it all together tomorrow. And we may even get to the embroidery tomorrow too. They all have like little embroidered antennas. So that is the plan, guys. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm gonna be here again at 9:30 p.m. Central. I'm so happy you guys joined me tonight, and we'll be able to chat a little bit more tomorrow too. I had to concentrate during all that cutting, so thanks again, guys. I will see you tomorrow night. You guys are the bestest in the westest. Good night.